Alrighty, what is going on, everybody? It's Tanner, aka the Text Gentleman, and I am joined by the debut of my good friend and yours, Mike Charlip. Mike, you are amazing, and thank you for taking part in this post-show review. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty well. I'm happy to be here, and yeah, you hit me up like 2 hours ago,
Yeah.
so so and I was here. So
Well, good deal, man. Good deal. I'm happy that you're here and making it. SummerSlam, WWE SummerSlam 2021. What a time to be here. Lots of big news, lots of big returns here. Mike,
yeah,
I'd be remiss if we didn't open up with perhaps the biggest news of them all. Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar is back in WWE. He came out to the ring and confronted Roman Reigns, and then off camera he beat up on John Cena. What do we think of this return of Brock Lesnar?
yeah, the return of this Brock Lesnar, and I I mentioned to you before we went live that this is the most Canada that Brock Lesnar has ever looked, and it's true because he looks like a freaking lumberjack. Like, oh my god, and like my stream was like 5 minutes ahead of Tanner's, and he's like, all right, let's get it going, and I told him, wait.
Yes,
Like,
yes. Mike told me don't go live. There's still more. So we definitely got more. We thank you guys for joining us in the chat. Mags is in the chat already. Mags says, "Hola, how's that going, Mags? I'll see you in the morning. Hope your stream goes well tonight here for 5 rounds, as you'll be seeing some UFC coverage later on today." And the Cantastic is in the chat as well. How are you doing? Hope you're doing well.
that's my buddy Alan.
Nice to meet you, Alan.
Yep.
He says, nice to see Brock Lesnar finally embracing his Canadian heritage. Yes, indeed. Matt is in the chat. He says, good morning. That he just woke up. What did I miss? Matt, you missed Brock Lesnar. You missed Brock Lesnar coming out and confronting Roman Reigns after the John Cena match. Mike, I can't think of a better place to start than this.
Yeah,
Roman and Brock. This is interesting.
it's happening again. I mean, I guess and again, we were talking off air, and we were, hypothesizing, like, where is this gonna go? Like, what show is this gonna be on? And I mean, Extreme Rules is next, and we've seen this match like literally like 4 or 5 times now. So, and this time the roles are reversed, I guess. I don't think we've ever seen this Brock Lesnar against this Roman Reigns. So the dynamic will certainly be different. And the Paul Heyman thing. I mean, I hope this doesn't lead to like a CM Punk situation where Heyman turns, but circa 2013. But that was relevant considering what happened yesterday.
Oh,
but
100%. And we can talk about what happened yesterday here in just a moment.
We'll do that later. But I was just connecting that to this.
Oh, for sure. I mean, this definitely seems like WWE took note of what happened yesterday and wanted to do as much as possible. Maybe they had the Lesnar thing already in the can. Who knows? Matt Willis does bring up a great question in the chat. Matt, I will also see you tomorrow in the morning, my time, but later on today, your time. The question is, where does Paul Heyman's loyalty lies?
Yeah, who knows? That's I hope, my hope is that he stays with Roman, because it's just, again, we don't need it to go back to the way it was. Now sure, they're probably concerned about what Lesnar would say
Mm-hmm.
on his own, and that has always been kind of a concern. I guess that's why he had Heyman. So like, do you put somebody else with him to talk for him? What do you do? Because we don't know what Brock Lesnar's gonna say without restrictions.
I mean, that's very true. We typically don't get a live mic with Brock Lesnar only, and not with Paul Heyman. Yes, Roman Reigns defeats John Cena in the main event match. Brock Lesnar comes out. The main event, obviously, with John Cena and Brock Lesnar, was actually quite decent. A lot of Roman Reigns just beating down on John, and John looking to mount a comeback. What did you think of the match, though, Mike?
My favorite thing about this match, and I think the best thing about this Roman Reigns is that like his cadence in the ring and the way he like carries himself throughout the whole match, especially when he's in control, and like the talking directly to the camera, the talking to his opponent, just the constant like not nag. It feels like nagging when he's doing it, but the way he's doing it, like it's I love it, and this match was a lot of that, and a lot of John Cena fighting from behind, and a lot of John Cena doing what John Cena does best, but it not working out in the end. And I think that was the right choice, obviously.
For sure. I mean, I think that us as fans of old know John Cena as the guy who makes the impossible possible. He hits the 5 moves of death, and that's match done, right?
Yeah.
And he certainly tried, but that did not happen here tonight. Roman Reigns obviously coming out the much more, I guess, the much more dominant figure here in the match, and you could tell, definitely tell that that's the case here. Mags here in the chat does bring up an interesting point here. He says, no way WWE gets those deals done in less than 24 hours. They had to be in place well beforehand. Maybe they moved up the returns, though. It's certainly possible. I mean,
oh yeah,
you would be, in my mind, it would be outrageous if you were in WWE and you knew WWE has to know that CM Punk was coming to AEW. Like that, like you have to know.
Oh, so, yeah. I mean, everybody kind of knew already. Like, all the reports were out there. All the reports were saying, like, it's happening. And obviously, we all were kind of skeptical to a point until it actually happened. And if it's not going through the grapevine in the wrestling industry, like somebody at AEW who knew told somebody at WWE that needed to know, or there people talk, like it's not like these wrestlers aren't friends. Somebody knew. So I would say that this return was probably done to answer that, without a doubt. There's another one later that I think wasn't because of that one. That one was for another circumstance. But
slightly more spontaneous, perhaps.
Yeah. And I mean, I mentioned to you off air that I think that Lesnar-Lashley was right there. Lesnar-Lashley is right there, and that's the match that we want.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, again, we mentioned how like the dynamic between this Roman and this Lesnar will be different, but we've seen that match. We haven't seen Lashley-Lesnar, and that's the match that everybody wants for Lesnar. That's the match that Lashley wants. He has gone on record numerous times saying that's the only reason that he came back.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. So I don't know where we go from here. Obviously, we'll find out on Friday what's next for these guys.
Yes, and we will definitely look forward to Friday for sure. Ori the Draw is in the chat. She says, "Evening, boys. Ori, how are you doing? Hope you're doing well." Mag says, "Wrestle Ops tweeted that after the camera stopped, Lesnar destroyed John Cena." Yes, absolutely. We heard that there was multiple German suplexes as well as an F5 or two that Lesnar performed on Cena. So it looks like Lesnar's the next guy in the line for sure. Ori does also note that Lesnar versus Lashley is long overdue. Perhaps so.
I mean,
everybody's wanting that match.
It's the only match that people want for Lesnar right now. It's like, because it's these two huge guys who were successful in MMA, successful in WWE, and their roads just never crossed. When Lashley first came in, Lesnar was long gone. He was in Japan. And this is the match that everybody's talked about. What if Lashley and Lesnar get in the ring together? Like, like how people like wanted to see what Brock Lesnar was going to do in UFC when he was there, and this has that energy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and Lashley, to his point, has said that's the match that he wants. So,
I mean, can you blame him? That would be the biggest payday of Lashley's life, facing Brock Lesnar in a main event somewhere. And as Ori said in the chat, two big men slapping all the meats. Yes, two big men slapping all the meats. And with that said, let's dig into the card here. WWE SummerSlam 2021. This opened here, Mike, with Matt Riddle and Randy Orton taking on AJ Styles and Omos. This match here, it was definitely good, but it certainly set the tempo for the rest of the night of very quick matches.
Yeah, we had a lot of quick matches tonight, and this was definitely one of those. Again, like all of the AJ Omos matches, for the most part, AJ did all the work. Omos came in there, did a couple of big guy stuff, and Riddle always looks good in the ring. Randy Orton looks good when he wants to. So yeah, it was fine. It was a fine match.
For sure. Or the draw. Broseph versus the Tiny Man, and damn, he tall. Yes, that seems about right.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think about the RK Bros taking the titles here? I think a lot of they come across as a very popular segment on Raw in particular, and for me, they're kind of like the odd couple or the Turner and Hooch of WWE tag teams. Should we expect some long-term success out of these two?
Yeah, I think that this team became undeniable. Mainly because of how good Matt Riddle is at drawing people into like what he's doing. He's really good at getting people excited about what he's doing. He's very good at whatever he's doing. Even if it's, acting like he's, for lack of a better term, high all the time on air.
Of course.
And he just is so good at the facial reactions, the way he comes off, like he just cares about what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
And cares about wrestling in general. And Randy Orton, when he does care, when it's good to him, he cares, and it works out. And I think that there's going to be a long-term story with these guys, probably leading to their match at WrestleMania. That's where I'm going with this one.
Ooh, some future booking here by Mike. That would be very interesting for sure. We got the next match on the card: Alexa Bliss defeating Eva Marie. Where at the end of the match, Doudrop actually turns on Eva Marie here a bit and leaves her high and dry. Alexa Bliss obviously defeating Eva Marie here. the doll's a little bit odd,
Yeah.
but I do like Alexa Bliss.
Yeah. Yeah, I was not looking forward to this match. As you could probably guess, Eva Marie is not for me. I don't know who she's for, to be honest. And Alexa is doing, yeah, that was a, sorry, the Amazon thing, the Amazon thing.
Oh, nice.
I'll just say Bliss so that doesn't happen again. Bliss, is doing what she, doing her best with this stuff. It's not great, but it's, it works. But yeah, this was my least excited about match going in, and it didn't disappoint in that category.
So what's next for Alexa Bliss going forward from here? Because obviously she seems to be very popular. She's very much into this Harley Quinn-esque gimmick of hers, this character of hers. But she also is toting around the doll Lily,
which they are selling now.
Yes, quite successfully, actually.
Yeah.
So is Alexa Bliss in line for bigger and better things here?
I mean, what do you do? Like, put her with the champion? I don't know what else you do with her at this point. I mean, the other problem is that there's not a lot of baby faces for her to face. So I don't, is Alexa a heel or a face? I don't know, but I guess she's a face because she was facing Eva. But so then who else is there? She's already beaten Shayna. She's already beaten Nia. Now she's beaten Eva. So I guess the next thing is for her to go for the belt.
Well, and we will talk about said belt here.
Yes.
Just momentarily.
Yeah.
Damien Priest defeating Sheamus actually in the next match here to become the new United States champion. Obviously, the good back and forth match, solid big man match. I feel match ends where Damien Priest rips Sheamus' protective face mask off, and then starts taking advantage of Sheamus' exposed face. Since we have Ori and Mags here in the chat, obviously this makes allusions to, or maybe is a callback to the Owen Hart cast gimmick, where he was always using the cast, and then when you lose the cast, it's not a great thing for him. Yeah, interesting stuff here. Damien Priest, new U.S. champ. I didn't see it coming here, Mike.
I actually was. I expected Damien Priest to win. I think it was time for him to get his his due. He's been stuck in a thing with the Miz for 8 months, and
Yes.
that was not great. And he was just every once in a while having these great matches and having great matches with Sheamus to lead us to this match. And I rather enjoyed this match. And yeah, I think the right person won, because it's time for Damien Priest to do bigger and better things.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
If you have the metaphoric pencil here, Mike, you're stacking up somebody to take on Damien Priest. You got to put somebody in there. Who are you going to I guess line up against Damien Priest first?
See, that's kind of hard because there's really nobody built up on Raw to get into that spot except John Morrison or The Miz, and nobody wants that. There aren't a lot of people that could just get into that. I mean, maybe you could put Drew McIntyre there for now. I mean, because he can't challenge Lashley, so that would be interesting. I mean, Drew doesn't have to win.
Yeah, Drew McIntyre versus Damien Priest would be quite interesting, and he doesn't have to win. It does seem as though not Damien Priest, but rather Drew McIntyre he's falling down the card just a little bit. just a little bit, which saddens me. But we will cover Drew McIntyre
Yeah.
shortly. Next match on the card, the Usos retain against Rey and Dominic Mysterio. A lot was made about, hey, will Rey and Dominic, will they get on the same page? Will this father and son duo finally get their titles back? Was not to be here, Mike.
No, it was not. And they basically had the same match that they always have. There was nothing really too flashy about this match. There was nothing new that they did to make it any better. It was fine, like it was all the other times they faced. And hopefully this was the last time, because I've seen a Mysterio versus a Uso for like 7 straight weeks. So, I mean, I pretty much think that the Street Profits are probably next for the Usos. Because there's no other babyface tag team on SmackDown. So, I mean, Otis and, well, no, not Otis and Gable. Otis is on a roll, not Gable. So, it's not going to be them. And you're not going to do Rude and Ziggler versus the Usos. So, put the Street Profits in there.
Maybe they'll get Gable Stevenson in sooner rather than later, and he'll join Otis.
Yes. Yeah.
Perhaps. We'll see.
That would be interesting, but he's probably,
he seems busy.
Not ready. Yeah.
Yeah, Gable Stevenson seems a little busy at the moment. Ori the Draw does note here in the chat, this felt like the longest squash match ever. Yes, indeed. It did feel pretty long. But things turn around quite quickly here as we move into our next match. So Bianca Belair was scheduled to face Sasha Banks, and it seemed like up until moments before the show started, it was going to be her and Sasha Banks. WWE has played their cards really close to their chest. They haven't not fully disclosed, to my knowledge, what the issue with Sasha Banks is. We can all speculate.
Yep.
Speculation is not always the greatest thing in the world.
Yep.
But what we know is that Sasha Banks was not able to compete tonight.
Yeah.
So, WWE has Carmella come out to the ring and, get ready to face Bianca. I was sitting there on my couch ready for Bianca to face Carmella. And then Becky Lynch's music hit, and we were treated to our first surprise of the night here. Becky Lynch makes her way from the entrance ramp through the arena, and it was an enormous pop. As her. The difference here, I think, is that the match that preceded, what wasn't maybe what everybody planned, but I don't think it's Becky Lynch's fault. I don't think it's Bianca's fault.
No.
So Becky Lynch gets to the ring. She tosses out Carmella, beats up Carmella, and then the ref decides, oh, all right, well, we've got Becky and we've got Bianca. Let's have this match. And then the rest happened here, Mike. What happened?
The bell rings. Becky hits the manhandle slam and gets the win in 27 seconds.
That was it. That was literally the whole match. Bianca goes to shake Becky's hand. Becky shakes the hand, answers with an elbow to the face, and then the manhandle slam. That was about it. Yeah, and
now again, like you said, this is nothing. This is not Becky's fault. This is not Bianca's fault. This is all the booking's fault, because up till the show, you had everybody believe that Sasha was the opponent. You played the promo video right before the match, and Bianca did her whole entrance, and then as soon as Bianca's entrance is over, the ring announcer just goes, oh, Sasha can't compete.
Yeah.
So why did you have people believing that Sasha was going to? Why did you play the video? Why did you have the entire crowd think that that was the match that was happening, and then bring out Carmella, who's lost to Bianca like 4 times?
Yes. Yes.
And again, I kind of expected Becky to come out at this point, but they could have just skipped the Carmella part and had an actual match with, and Becky. It was not bad that Becky won. It was bad the way it happened. And you could tell because right after it happened, you could see the crowd shaking their head. You could see fans not happy about this because you spent all this time building up Bianca and making people care about Bianca to the point where she won a ESPY for her WrestleMania match. And that was fan voted.
Yeah.
And then you do this. And again, that's not Becky's fault. And we're all happy that Becky is back. We expected her back at some point. It's been over a year. She had a baby, everything. She's back. But this was not the way to do it.
Yeah, this seemed very, and again, we keep reiterating because it's important to reiterate this. This is not Becky's fault. This is not Bianca's fault. Obviously, they did what they needed to do per, the situation to get this done.
This is what it comes down to. I think Vince McMahon is all about the moment, not the match. The moment. And to him, the moment of Becky coming back is the thing that matters.
Yes.
It does not matter that he did Bianca dirty here to him. What matters is that people are talking about Becky being back.
Yes.
And everything that happened after was secondary.
Yeah, I mean that makes 100% sense, and again, don't. I hate to keep saying this, but I want to caution anybody and everybody who might be watching this now or might be watching in the future. Don't put the blame out on the feet of Becky Lynch or the feet of Bianca. They have nothing to do with this. This is totally circumstantial. This could have been handled much, much better by the higher ups than what it was. There could have been more transparency here for us, the viewers, but that was not to be the case here. We got a less than 30-second match with Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch. I guess for me, for a Becky Lynch return, I would have always expected, hey, she's going to arrive on a Raw or a SmackDown. She's going to cut a promo. The fans are going to be back. This is going to be quite an event. But here, they pulled off at SummerSlam. It's a great moment, as you said. But for whatever reason, they went this route, and it's just not not executed.
And if we would have had Bianca versus Sasha in a arguably probably if good as or better than the WrestleMania match here, Becky would have came out after.
Yeah.
Still. That could have still happened. And that would have been fine because that's what we would have expected. I fully expected that to happen. I expected Sasha and Bianca to have a great match and for Bianca to win and then to set up a match with Becky. Mm-hmm. And obviously they had to do an audible here. It was just not the right one.
Yep. I agree. And I think that you'll find the majority of fans here believe as well. If you guys are just now joining us, we thank you for joining us here on Radio Tekkers. We're doing a live SummerSlam review here, SummerSlam 2021 by WWE. Lots of fun here tonight. If you haven't done so already, hit that like button and smash the subscribe button as well. That way so you can always get Radio Tekkers content. I'm Tanner, a.k.a. the Text Gentleman, and joining me here is Mike. Mike making his debut here on Radio Tekkers. Next match here on the card, after the Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair conundrum that we got, was a really... a glorified squash match here between Drew McIntyre and Jinder Mahal.
Yep.
Are we done with this yet, Mike?
I hope that this is over. I hope that this was a one and done, and we never see Drew and Jinder interact ever again. because that's what this match felt like to me.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like a definitive, it's over, there's no reason for a rematch. It was 4 minutes and 40 seconds total, I think. And they built this up as a match that mattered. They didn't face each other at all leading to this match. Right. Drew just faced Veer and Shanky a bunch and beat them every time, of course. But he never faced Mahal in a match. So you thought maybe this would be a pretty good match. And it was just the way we got here, destroying motorcycles, stealing swords, instead of acknowledging their history. It was nobody was excited about it anyway because of the way it was built. And Drew just definitively won. So that should just be the end of it.
I would hope so. What are your prospects here for Drew McIntyre? Because, I mean, we can look back just a few months ago, and Drew McIntyre was opening WrestleMania. He was facing Bobby Lashley for the title. It seems like he's fallen a great deal since then.
Yeah, it does seem like he's falling down the card. Obviously, they still have the in play where he can't challenge Lashley, so he can't enter the title picture anyway. So he's got to move on to something else, and we're not having a draft until the end of October. So we it's kind of hard to say who he like I said, we mentioned Damien Priest. Like, it's kind of hard to say who is next for Drew because it's not going to be a world title. So and they just don't build people up to matter. So they have the same 14 people on Raw every week, and then what's next for Drew? We don't know. And it's impossible to say. I mean, what is he going to feud with Karrion Kross? I mean, I guess that would. I mean, obviously we'll have Takeover tomorrow and see where he goes from there. But I mean, I guess that would be fine.
I mean, you've definitely made a fan of Ori the Draw in the chat here. She says, move Drew back up or put him against Priest, which is exactly what you had made note of here. Yeah, Drew and Priest seems like it would be a pretty good matchup here. I mean, considering both men's athleticism and their preference for technique, that seems like a good match.
I mean, just to conclude on the match with with Mahal, this was a Raw match.
Yeah.
This was a Raw match. This was not a pay-per-view match. He had the same match that he has all the time with Veer, with Shanky, with anybody that's not on the pay-per-view card. This was not a pay-per-view match. And I feel bad for Drew in that sense because Drew, he carried the banner forever. And this is what he's doing at SummerSlam. It's kind of upsetting.
I definitely agree. I mean, we're edging our way through the card here, folks. And up next is the Charlotte Flair, Rhea Ripley, Nikki ASH match. Nikki ASH being the Raw Women's Champion, talking about how you can nearly almost be a superhero, and she's definitely put against the odds here against Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley, both respectable champions, respectable former champions in their own right. And of course, Charlotte Flair comes out here as the victor via the figure 8 leg lock on Nikki ASH. Charlotte adding another belt to her collection here, Mike.
Yeah, and I was kind of surprised with the finish because it looked like Rhea was off camera, right there. She was she was standing by the apron. I don't know, maybe I saw it wrong, but she looked like she was right there and could have broke it up, or Nikki could have got to the ropes. But I don't know why they always do these things, especially in Charlotte matches. They always do this thing where she taps people out and they're right near the ropes. All
maybe
the time.
They like that visual of, so close. And yet so far away.
But and Charlotte's the champion again. They're saying 12 because I guess they're not counting NXT. And yeah, I mean, her last 3 reigns have been very short. So, like less than a week short.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess she's gonna get a longer reign here. I would think. I mean, but what is she gonna continue feuding with Nikki Ash? I mean, because Rhea's done. Rhea should be done at this point. She's lost to Charlotte a bunch of times, and now she lost here. I mean, she didn't take the pin, but I don't need to see her and Rhea again, her and Charlotte again.
Yeah, I mean, it's been very interesting seeing this feud carry over from NXT to now, and it seems like it's only gone one way. It's only gone Charlotte's way.
Yeah.
Ori the Draw in the chat says that I'm so tired of Charlotte, and Rhea was on the floor, and she either legit hurt her knee or that was the best selling ever, possibly so. I'll need to go back and rewatch it in order to see what happened with Rhea.
That camera angle was really weird because they had the camera on Nikki, in the hold, and it looked like somebody was there with like their hands in the ring. So it could have been a camera person, obviously. It just looked weird to me. But yeah, I'm really tired of Charlotte too. I mean, I've hated like that she's been cutting these promos where she says that she's she's the opportunity, and it basically making the title seem like it doesn't matter because Nikki, who was the champion, and Rhea should be happy that they're in the ring with her. And like that's what she's been saying on the show week after week. So by doing that, you're diminishing the title and basically makes me think like, why does Charlotte want the title if she's the opportunity?
Mm-hmm.
If the opportunity is being in the ring with Charlotte, why should she want the belt?
Right. I mean, it seems like she fancies herself as a Conor McGregor of sorts, where the she's the payday, she's the opportunity, she's the one that you should strive to achieve, to be against in the ring, perhaps, or that she's as good as winning a title. I mean, you could argue that. I mean, she's certainly got. I haven't checked the stats recently, but I would say it would be unquestionable that she has the most title wins of any female on the roster, perhaps.
I believe she has the most reigns ever. Like I said, I don't think they're counting NXT, so they're saying she's at 12. That's what they're saying. So if you counted NXT, it would be 14. So, yeah, it's just, I mean, she's the Ric Flair. She's Charlotte Flair. That's what she is. she's the Ric Flair of the women's division. There's no denying that. And she's great. She's possibly the best wrestler in all of WWE if you don't include Sasha, I think.
Wow.
But I'm just tired of her always winning.
I think there's a lot of people who feel the same way, Mike.
Yeah.
Next match on the card, I feel, is arguably the best match on the card. Edge taking on Edge Rollins. Edge taking on Seth Rollins and defeating him in an excellent match. I would say if you're going to tune in to SummerSlam 2021 for any match, this would be the match that you should tune in for.
Yeah, I mean, well, you were half right because Edge was calling him Edge Light the whole entire time during the promos. So Edge Rollins is the same thing.
It's good enough in my book.
Yeah, but yeah, you're right. This is the best match of the show in my opinion. There was psychology, there was back and forth, there was a lot of great stuff in this match, and I really enjoyed Edge doing the Brood entrance. I really enjoyed him pulling out the Educator because he doesn't do that very often. I always really liked that move.
He also busted out the Glam Slam.
Yeah, he busted out the Glam Slam. So yeah, it was a hell of a match. I I fully expect them to do it again at Extreme Rules.
Hopefully, so maybe in a more dangerous environment, perhaps maybe an Extreme Rules match. That would be something.
And I think it's because we all pretty much expect Seth versus Roman to happen at some point. So I wouldn't be surprised if they, because Seth is going to complain of that he lost, and they're going to try to, they're going to run it back and probably make this a number one contenders match. And that's where Seth will win, I think. So that's how I see it. Obviously, things could go a completely different way. So, because they change things on the fly an hour before the show starts. So,
we'll definitely check out this match, folks.
Yes.
Edge versus Seth Rollins. Really, really good stuff. And then we get to the penultimate main event here. We'd already talked about the Lashley Goldberg conundrum before the show, but it bears repeating because it's important. Lashley retains the title against Goldberg in a match that happened. It existed in time and space, and Goldberg loses here by ref stoppage.
Yeah, and I guess they said that he hurt his knee. Goldberg did not look good at all in this match. And that's not even me saying that because I don't like Goldberg. He legitimately just did not look good in here. His offense was very slow. He was delayed on a bunch of stuff. Like he went for that running clothesline in the corner, and like he stopped. Like he short stopped in the corner and then lightly hit the clothesline.
There's the part with the cane where MVP hit him with the cane, and it took about 3 seconds for him to
react.
Yeah.
And he didn't even sell that all that great. It was like he was like, "Oh, my leg," but like not to the point where it looked like he got hit with a cane. Like it was like it was like he was there, but his brain wasn't. And that's just what happens in Goldberg matches. And obviously, sorry.
I'm sorry for interrupting. I mean, with that being said, should this be a thing where maybe they should reconsider bringing back so many people, like for these part-time, really sporadic kind of events? Because some people tend to be able to do it, and others not so much.
Yeah, I mean, Goldberg is going to be 55 in December. And as we've seen from his previous matches, he doesn't have it anymore. It's very clear. And obviously we don't know if he did his usual ritual before the match. I don't think he did because he wasn't bleeding before the match started.
We didn't see it.
Yeah. So who knows? I hope that he did not do that, because hitting your head against the wall is not a good thing to do.
Medically, it's advised against.
Yes.
Goldberg lost by referee stoppage here to Bobby Lashley, and then Goldberg's son Gage ran into the ring, and he proceeded to be assaulted by Bobby Lashley. Yes, that's right, folks. Bobby Lashley assaulted a minor in the ring. And this feud seems to be ongoing here, as Goldberg may want to vow revenge against Bobby Lashley for his transgressions here.
What's weird is they never showed him before the match. They never said that he was sitting in the crowd. They never told us he was in the crowd during the match. He just ran in, and it looked like a fan ran into the ring, because he's not tiny. He's 15, but he's not tiny. And it's just, Lashley put the Hurt Lock on a 15-year-old. And then MVP gets on the mic, and he's like, "Oh, he didn't know who it was. He thought he was being attacked. He didn't know." And Goldberg is now not selling his leg and checking on his son, who is just sitting there. And so now we have to assume that this feud isn't over. And it needs to be, because Goldberg is just it's bad.
It's not great, but it seems like we'll be getting more of this in the very near future. And then, of course, like we talked about, Roman Reigns, John Cena.
Yeah,
Obviously, match was pretty good. John still seems to have a problem putting in the STFU.
Yeah, I don't know what is going on with that grip that he does. I don't know why he does that, because the way he did it tonight, Roman Reigns literally slipped his head out of the hold and still sold it. And still sold it. So I don't know why he doesn't do the normal cross-face grip, the one like this over the head. Yeah. I don't know why he doesn't do that, because that looks better. The way he does it, it just looks like he's going like this with his, like this, and squeezing with his forearms.
Yes.
And it doesn't look good. I don't know why he's always done it that way. But yeah, that's the one thing about John Cena that I will always have a complaint about. And I mean, we also talked about how he always tackles the stairs, and we worry that he's going to re-injure his shoulder. But
yes, he went shoulder first into the steel steps, which is I would advise against as a non-medical professional. I feel like that's just common sense. But
especially
I digress.
Especially for somebody who's had multiple pectoral injuries.
Yes. If you're going to do that on a semi-consistent basis, even, bench pressing is something that you may want to start reconsidering in the future. Any upper body gym involvement, you might want to take it easy on. But yes. We basically were given a new Superman in Roman Reigns here tonight, completely dominant against John Cena, and of course Brock Lesnar's return, which means that we will have yet another head-on collision between Reigns and Lesnar somewhere down the road. But until then, Mike, I thank you for joining me here on this chat here. I thank you for partaking here at such short notice. And I feel like we had a really good time. We had a great time here reviewing the show here in the chat.
Yeah, I had a good time. I enjoy doing stuff with you. So, and Mags when he's here as well. So, yeah.
Well, hopefully we can do a lot more of these here in the future. That would be awesome.
Yep.
Mike, where can people find more of you and your content? Because you are a writing machine, my friend.
Yeah, I do a lot of the AEW reviews for SLTDwrestling.com. I review AEW Dynamite every single week. And I enjoy doing that. Once in a while, I'll write other things for the site. And I'm pretty sure another article about SummerSlam is supposed to come out at some point on there. And I also have my own website, MikeJCOnWrestling.com, where I talk about all things wrestling. Recently had an article up about CM Punk and Daniel Bryan before what happened yesterday. And I'm sure I'm going to write something about what happened yesterday at some point. So look out for that.
Awesome. Well, check out Mike's content. It's absolutely great. I've been a really big fan of his for a long, long time, going back a couple of years now, which is crazy to think.
Yeah.
But yeah, this has been awesome, man. I thank you so much for joining me on such short notice. Go and check out Mike's content. It's absolutely amazing. And hopefully we'll see you guys again more tomorrow. We've got a Premier League game here. Mags and I will be joined by Chris, hopefully. Fingers crossed, to watch Arsenal take on Chelsea, and maybe some NXT coverage here as well. But yes, thank you guys for tuning into our SummerSlam review show. Smash that like button and the subscribe button as well. That way so you get all the Radio Tekkers content. Y'all take care and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.